Good evening, dear friends, and welcome to the International Fabtalks. We are happy to be connected with you. Before we start the session and go ahead, I'd like to wish each one of you a happy Ugadi. It's a beautiful day today with lots of festivities going on across India and across the world. Lots of love to you on this special day. We wish you a lot of prosperity. Friends, join us now to welcome our celebrity and guest who's here with us is Mr. Bhavesh M. Vyas, joining us all the way from a beautiful city in India, Bengaluru, also called as Bangalore. It's located in Karnataka, India. Hello, sir, and welcome to the session.
Thank you, Crystal, for inviting me for this show. And a very happy Ugadi and happy Cheti Chand and all happy Gudi Padwa to all our Indian viewers and to all the global viewers. These are known as the Indian Hindu New Year Day today. So it's a big day today, and I'm really privileged to be on the show on this very important day. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing that so beautifully, that you've mentioned all the names of the various ways in which the Indian people celebrate this beautiful festival. That's really nice. So I go ahead and share your profile and we begin the session, sir. Thank you. Friends, it's always a honor and pleasure and our responsibility to share the profile of our celebrities and guests. We have Mr. Bhavesh here with us. Let's get to know what's so special about him and how he's been able to take his journey ahead and be an inspiration to us today on the International Fabtalks. So friends, I'd like to share that sir is a visionary, is very proactive and a professional with dedicated experience of over 3 decades. And sir has been focusing his time in sales and marketing, business development, channel management, and client relationship management. He's very proficient in managing cross-functional teams and getting optimal output as well. He has immense ability to forge business partnerships with key accounts and channel partners and develop new markets. Apart from that, the personal side to our celebrity and guest, an outgoing person who likes to meet new people, build beautiful bonds, network with people, and build and have healthy relations, or you could call it as relationships with one and all. That is how we have to network in the right way than to be, leaving the world aside and being in your own shell. It's always good to connect, especially this is for the younger generation. You have to bond with people. Here is the takeaway at the very start. You should be ready to meet and connect with new people and build strong relations or relationships. Now, my dear friends, I'd like to add more to that. Sir has a flair for sales since his student days. It's not just now, since his student days, and that's wonderful. Sir used to, be a part of his father's, investment advisory business. He used to support his father in a lovely way. And he did it with his own free will without any force. And sir has spent almost 30 years, as I earlier mentioned, of professional experience in the pharmaceutical industry, starting with the role of a medical representative and went on to become a BU head. Now, a business unit head, that's wonderful with regard to that. Friends, here is another important thing for all of us, irrespective of age. The COVID impact had been really turning lives up and down. So there are people who have faced COVID in different ways. Some have been blessed in the right way and some have not. But sir says, the COVID experience has made me reprioritize my life and decided to step away from active roles and focus on more consultative roles. That's really nice. He's a family person, and I'd love all of you out there to be family people, have this thing that I don't like my family, I hate my family. Overcome that. Here is a person who is a wonderful family person. He prioritizes his parents, his lovely wife, and his lovely children as well. He gives importance to that. And he considers them to be a fantastic pillar of support towards his career and personal development as well. So with this, I would like to just go ahead and get to know more about this person. I really love people who prioritize their family. Being the head of the family, it's our duty to take care of our family members who are with us and prioritize that important feeling. When your family is well and happy with you, everything goes well in your life. Hello, sir, and welcome to the session, sir.
Thank you so much.
I've been just sharing a little about you. I'd like you to go ahead and describe yourself or define yourself in your own words.
Well, that's always a very little difficult thing to do, because normally you are asked this question in a professional context. It's very rare that one is asked this in a personal context. So I really feel that if I have to look at it from an outsider's perspective of me, whether it's my family member or a friend or a colleague, would generally find me, I hope that they would find me to be a person who's more accepting, very patient, uh, open to new ideas, and also at the same time very supportive. That's how I have always tried to be in my life, to support other people's ideas, newer ways of doing things. And that is where I feel my personal growth also happened, because it was just not my idea, but it was always multiple people's ideas, which helped progress things, whether it was on the personal front or in the professional front. So, if I have to describe myself as a person, open to new ideas, likes to get along with people, uh, and also accept people as they are. So that's about me. I did my education in Bombay, and then moved across multiple cities in India uh, in my professional role. Was well supported by my parents as well as my family, because it's not easy to move from one culture to another. Within India, also, when you move from one state to another, it's like moving from one country to another in a place like Europe, right? So we've lived across 9 cities in the last 25 years of my our married life. So you can understand how supportive my wife and my children must have been. So that's something that has shaped up my thoughts and their thoughts also. So that's about me.
That's wonderful, sir. I like the way you put that across very clearly, that you have a supportive family as you've been traveling across different states in India and trying to, rebuild or structurize that entire unit of connecting with your business and family and look, ahead as to what the future holds for you. You had a supportive family and you still have one connecting with you in the right way. Now, sir, I like the way you put this very nicely, that you like people just the way they are, or you accept, you not like, you just accept the way they are. And this has to be something that we all need to do, accept them just the way they are. We should not expect them to change for us or anything. When we have expectations and assumptions, that's where the problem arises. So I like it in a very mature way. You put that yes, you have to accept people as they are. That is really nice. And so I'd like you now to share about your student life, because it's very impressive. At a very young age, you entered that zone of helping your dad with regard to his work. Did he call you into the scene, or did you enter it voluntarily?
So my we come from a very middle class family in Bombay, which is now Mumbai. So my father's job alone wasn't enough to support us, and therefore he had to do additional things, and that's where he got into this investment advisory of life insurance, and then a couple of other investment in instruments, etc. So it was necessary to explain to people what were the advantages, and I used to see him do that, and people sometimes wouldn't get it. So I would try to build up similes and then explain it to them, because investment was a new thing back then. I'm talking about the late 80s and the early 90s. uh, People only knew fixed deposits and nothing beyond that. So it was that way. In that sense, it was exciting for me, and that is where I feel my sales flair built up. That how do I convince a person X to part with his money and invest in a certain thing which is going to be actually beneficial for him, but he doesn't realize it as of now. So it actually had to be a sales job, to kind of sell the idea of investing in something beyond a fixed deposit. And even in India today, we find hordes of people still parking their money in fixed deposits. They are good as a emergency fund, but not as an investment. They are the worst investment ideas, I feel. And I that's one of my other passions, besides my profession, that educating people about the right investments. It's been there since those days. So I got pulled into it by attraction. not by compulsion.
Wow, that's
So
really
that was my school student life. So that happened during my high school and then my college days, right up to my post graduation. Of course, after that, I took up my profession, so I couldn't support him anymore in that business office. But in retrospect, possibly I should have had given it a better shot. That I would have had probably been a big investment banker now. But that's life.
yes. That's really nice to share that very nicely. That you say it's not by compulsion, but it was an attraction that attracted me to go into that field. But nevertheless, you entered into the zone of being a medical rep, a sales and marketing personnel, and then rose up to a BU head. So now let me know how you entered into the medical zone, medical rep zone. How did this happen? Was it by chance or was it by choice?
So if you interview 100,000 medical reps in India, 999,000 would say that they have come in by default and not by choice. Maybe 1 in 100,000 comes into this profession by choice, to be honest. Because after my post graduation, the avenues, job opportunities back in the early 90s were not that very many. And the sales profession was something that was a good paying job, a well respected job those days. And so, therefore, even though I was a postgraduate in biochemistry, I decided to switch gears because I knew I had that flair for sales. I said, okay, I can always do well in this field. And what gave me added confidence was my master's in biochemistry. So I said, okay, I'm going to be talking medical science to doctors. So I am not going to flounder there. I would understand what I'm talking. Therefore, I would be more confident. And that's what gave me the confidence. And then that's where I joined this profession. And the first company that I joined, which is now known as Sanofi, it was known as Hearst back in those days. Uh, that company invested 45 long days of training. Now, why I'm sharing you this is that that was the era when the medical representatives were empowered with knowledge to impart it to doctors. The medical representative probably would know about his own drug more than the doctor. Of course, things have changed now because the doctors have access to medical information at their fingertips, but I still believe that organization person knows more about his drug than the doctor. The doctor knows the indications and which kind of patients to give it. That is, of course, for sure, not to undermine that. But it's important that a medical professional, when you're talking to him, you talk the right things. And that's where the respect builds up mutually. Otherwise, the doctor only sees the medical rep as a waste of his time. So that's something I'm bringing up today because, unfortunately, in the Indian market today, we see that the training is something that is not given importance to by the organizations, nor do the field personnel take it so seriously. They just believe in pushing the brand. But the brand without the science is actually just an empty promise. So my appeal to all my colleagues there in the field would be that please equip yourself well to talk to the doctor. Even if you have talked to him for 30 seconds, what you should be talking should be very sharp and relevant to the doctor. So that was about my profession. So was successful in my role as a medical representative that in the short stint of about 4.5 years, I was picked up for my promotion, which was a rare thing in that organization in those days. Uh, People had to wait for at least 7 to 8 years because the company always used to believe that the maturity would come after a certain period of exposure. I was fortunate to be picked up a little early on, and then I went on to become an area manager, which is a team manager of sorts in a very different geography, which had very different business dynamics. That gave me a lot of exposure to what I had not been exposed so far in my individual capacity as a team leader, and helped me shape up into how to become a good team leader. The initial years were tough, let me be very honest, because I was in a very, very different kind of a milieu where uh, the people were had a different ideology that they would follow when it comes to the business approach. Let me put it that way. And the company's ideology was a little different. So there used to be conflicts, and obviously, as a young people person, young manager who was not very experienced, I did make significant mistakes in my life. So I used to get pushbacks from my team as well as from my manager. So it used to be a pressure situation because I was not evolved enough. However, with time, the lessons that I learned from the mistakes I made, uh, I realized how to deal with people. And of course, books played a very important role. Besides the trainings that were given by the company, uh, very good books like The Seven Habits by Stephen Covey and How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's been a Bible which I've read at least 4 to 5 times in my life. I'm reading it probably for the sixth time right now. So those helped me shape up my thoughts, and then hopefully I became a more evolved people's manager over a period of time, which probably helped me in my career and propelled me to the higher positions.
Yes, so that's really very interesting. Thank you for sharing. And you mentioned about books. You're an avid reader. What are the
Yes.
books that you've been reading till date, right from your childhood? Could you share
So,
that with the audience?
fortunately, let me put it again that way. We were in an era when television was also a very big thing in the neighborhood. Just a couple of people would have it. So there was no distraction of television. The only way to, I mean, learn something new about the world was books. You had books, you had these lovely comics called Amar Chitra Kathas, and then the Indrajal comics and all that, which I started reading at a very young age, graduated to the Enid Blytons and the Secret Sevens. And then fiction was something that attracted me over a period of time. Read a lot of fiction in my youth days. And then How to Win Friends and Influence People was one of the first developmental books. In fact, this was gifted to me by an uncle who was in the US when I was in grade seven, and that's when I read it for the first time. I just didn't know what this book was. Like, okay, an American uncle has given me this. I'm talking about 80s, 80s kid who was not exposed to the world enough. We just knew that America was one big land of opportunity and a great place to be. And if an uncle from there has gifted you a book, it has to be the Bible. You look at it that way. I mean, we were not the smart kids of today who have access to information on their fingertips on their devices. So that's where I read it. I maybe understood 5% of it, but I liked it. And that is where I have kept revisiting that book. And every time I have revisited that book, I have felt that did I read this before? That's what is the beauty of that book. And I think that also reflects the short-term memory of the human mind. The human mind tends to forget a lot, however good it may be for your life. So it's important that you revisit important lessons in your life periodically to get your bearings right. So, being an avid reader through my life, even to this day, I have a huge library of, I guess, nothing less than some 250 plus books. So, uh, books is a way of life for me. Digital devices have become an intrusion into that habit. Uh, Trying to detox myself from the digital devices, but it's difficult. Let me accept it. It's a little difficult to get away from the digital devices.
Yes, that's really nice. Thank you for sharing about your journey with regard to books. And you have a collection of 250 books and above, I guess. If you
Yeah.
count it once again, I think it's more than 250 for sure. Yes.
My wife has packed a whole box of it
Yes,
right up there.
I
She
got
said,
it.
"You're not reading them every day. I don't have space to keep them." But then, yeah, all of them are there. There's a huge collection.
Now, sir, the last book that you mentioned with regard to friends, could you repeat the name of that book once again for the youngsters out there to hold that book, read it, and to Right.
I would be very happy to do that. How to win friends and influence people. This is by Dale Carnegie. I think it's been one of the highest selling books. It's over 100 years old, I guess, now. And yet it is still very relevant. If you pick up a copy and start reading it today, you'll feel it has been written yesterday and it has been written only for today. It's that relevant. It's been such a beautiful book. I wish I would have had kept a copy handy here to show it, but I'll definitely send you across a picture, which maybe you can put it up later on.
Yes.
I feel every youth, every middle-aged, and every elderly people should read it at every stage in their life because it gives you the importance of how to build relationships, how to give respect to people. And it's not about doing currying favors. No, that book is not how to curry favor from somebody else, but how you present yourself to the other person that he actually likes you. That's the beauty of that book, and I feel everyone should really read it.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that once again with us. Thank you for sharing the name, the title, and the author as well. And you said it's more than 100 years old, right?
Yes,
So, and now I'd like to ask you this. Now, the secret is out. I earlier wanted to ask you this question. You have a command over English, the words that you use. You pick up the right kind of vocabulary, the right kind of words, and place them in the sentence. So, I just wanted to ask you, from where did you get all of this? The speaking skill to speak in the right way, to have that flow with English. But now I get to know that it is from books. Am I right or wrong?
absolutely. You nailed it. You nailed it. My vocabulary is thanks to my books and my shot at GRE back in the 1990 that I picked up a lot of words. A lot of words I picked up, of course, are not cannot be used in daily life. But then, yes, it's when you want to sound pompous, you do can pull out those words and throw them at people. But again, I used to do that. Now that's another thing. Good, you brought me to that subject because I used to do that at one point of time in my life. Uh, in sales, when you are addressing your sales team and all that, just to look all the more that important. I used to pull out and throw those kind of wonderful words at them that they would be like, "Oh, what did he say?" Like, they wouldn't actually understand. And that's the essence I was missing out at a point of time in life, that it's not important to talk, but it's important to communicate. And if you want to communicate, you need to use a language which is good, but at the same time, it is to be understood by the listener. And this is something that I learned a little late in life, to be honest. That how do you communicate in a language where the your listener's language is more important than your ability to talk a certain language. So that's another message I would like to share with. That's a learning I would like to share, that it's not important. Even if I'm talking Hindi, as long as I am able to talk Hindi, that my opposite person who understands Hindi better than English, I should talk in Hindi and talk in a language which he will understand. So it's important to communicate rather than to message him.
Yes. Thank you, sir, for sharing that beautiful experience where you've understood that communicating is more important. That's
Sure.
really I mean, the listener should be at ease. The words that you use, but the listener should be at ease, and you should be able to communicate it in the right way. Nevertheless, you have that wonderful flow. I really am. I admire that. With all those important words. When we started off the session, you used a few words. Then I understood this person is someone like. Let me ask the secret as to how you have the connection with beautiful words and to put it in the right way and communicate with people in the right way. Now, sir, uh, your education, like your schooling, was it like in Mumbai or in which state was it like?
So I did my right from my basic schooling to my post graduation, everything happened in Mumbai. So that was where my whole shaping up of a person happened. I studied in a very nice school called the South Indian Education School, SIES. I guess it's over 100 years old now.
Missionary
It
one?
was no, it is it's not a missionary school. It is a school which was started by a group of South Indians who had migrated from the state of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, I guess, and they had settled in Bombay. The school started somewhere in the 1920s or 30s, if I'm not wrong. Uh, Maybe 1910 around that time. And it was a school. It wasn't a missionary school, but it had a very dedicated set of teachers. Even today, that school is ranked in one of the very good schools in Mumbai in the Times of India listing and all that. Of course, it's still a state board school, not a fancy CBSE or ICSE school. But the values that school imparted were very, very, very foundational. Let me put it that way. That you learn the good values of life. You learn to do the right things in life. That is what our teachers imparted us very strong.
Would you like to mention the name of your school?
South Indian Education Society, SIES. So I was a student of SIES for a good 11 years, right from senior KG to the 10th standard, and then again 5 years of my college education in the SIES college. So 16 years of my life were shaped up by this wonderful institution called the South Indian Education Society. So it still is going very strong. It has branched out into engineering colleges, the colleges for postgraduate degree in pharmaceutical management. So it's a very big institution, and I look back at it very proudly today. More so because of the values that the school incorporated in.
That's really nice. Now, what is this a co-ed school?
It was a co-ed school. It still is a co-ed school. So the advantage of that we were never shy to be around girls, and it helped us inculcate that comfort. And I'm talking about 1980s, when India was still evolving, but I think we were more open and more liberal uh, than these days. Somewhere I feel we've become more British-like in the recent past. But those were very open days, and friendship was very casual, whether it was with a boy or it was with a girl. So that gave us the comfort of being with girls. At the same time, the power of the girls we understood because girls always were toppers in the classes. So that hard one used to be there. That look, I'm putting in my hard effort, but this girl is still beating me. It made us accept over a period of time that women can be better than us at certain things. So that is where I think, again, like I said, the values got inculcated directly or indirectly this way.
Yes. Any memory with regard, you said, with regard to your kindergarten days? If you could go down deep down there, any
Oh,
memory?
well.
Do you remember your teacher's face? Do you remember something that happened?
So,
Like,
so I did my what is known as a kind. I was a little underage to be put in a kindergarten, so I was put in a pre-kindergarten kind of a thing, and I have the memory of that school, and there used to be a lion down below, a statue of a lion, which I used to sit on every day while coming back home. But more importantly, this is a combination of my memory and my mother's, sharing of my life at those days. I am a left-hander, so in India, even now we consider lefty not to be a natural thing. So, however, I was blessed to have a teacher who my father was very disturbed that my son is writing with the left hand, he's trying to do this with the left hand. And I had a very supportive teacher who said that that is his natural thing to do and let him do it. Don't try to force him to change any of that and let his natural flair be there. So that's one memory, and I still remember while everybody in the class used to write with a we used to use a slate and a pencil those days with the right hand, and I would write with the left hand, and I had absolutely shabby handwriting. But my teacher tolerated all of that. All my teachers throughout my life, they've tolerated my poor handwriting, which did improve over a period of time. But then they were never as beautiful as many others. But that's one memory I have of my kindergarten. And another beautiful memory I have is that the same SIES school, when I went in for admission, I was a naughty types. I ended up climbing up on the top of the headmaster's desk as I was being interviewed. I went up and stood on his desk, and he kept asking me questions. And my parents were, okay, this is it. He's going to throw us out. But the headmaster said, no, he wants to look at me and talk to me instead of that. I could hardly look out up from the table. So he was very comfortable. I mean, I really don't think my children would have had gotten admission had they done that in the schools that I went to for admission. So that was the liberal era. That is where I'm saying we used to accept people as they were, and probably that is what shaped me.
A wonderful experience you shared, sir. Beautiful one. That's really very nice. And I could visualize that little boy standing on the table.
Small little boy,
Yeah.
about 3.5.
Yes. That's really nice. So, your favorite teacher? All our favorites, or any favorite one, like who gave you the
There
most?
were there were there were a couple of them. I mean, see what happens is that when you're small, you actually don't have a favorite teacher. You're comfortable with your teacher, but as you grow up, you also kind of evaluate out your teachers, right? We may not have done it consciously, but unconsciously. So there were teachers at different phases of life who were my favorite, and I remember the lessons that they taught. For instance, there was this teacher called Tangam teacher. She was a maths teacher, and she was a terror. I don't know, maths teachers even now are known as terrors. Uh, I was a poor student of maths, but gradually improved over a period of time. But the way she used to explain concepts, in the ninth and the 10th, she was our maths teacher, and the way she used to uh, take those big compasses and draw on the board. I mean, you had these diagrams that you had to draw in geometry and all that. She would do it on the board. And the way she used to, I used to get it the first time. So she was one big inspiration. And then I had a chemistry teacher who actually inspired me to like chemistry. The way she used to make it so simple, sound so simple, all these molecules and all that. That I got inspired to take chemistry, follow up on chemistry during my graduation. And during that time, I had this lady, my memory fails me her name for a minute. Pardon me for that. Uh, she was such a beautiful biochemistry teacher. So, Mrs. Samant, this is during my BSc, and the way she taught us biochemistry, and she taught that don't look at a biochemistry equation in part, but it is happening in your bodies. Everything is interconnected. So understand biochemistry as a whole and not as a part. Now, that was something that she drove in us so beautifully and made us understand the different complex biochemical reactions that happen in our body. That was a concept. But the greater use of that concept in life that I learned from that was don't look at anything in part, look at it in whole. Whether it's a person's behavior at a certain point of time. Why is this person behaving in this manner right now? What is the backstory? What is the stress that he is carrying? You know, so that concept of biochemistry helped me in life in a bigger way that I would look at a person's behavior, good, bad, whatever, not being judgmental, but trying to understand, okay, why is this person behaving this? Why is this person doing this like this? Or why is such a thing happening? You try to understand the bits and parts. You understand, get the larger picture. And then your response to that is very different from if you were to just respond to one particular stimuli. That's that's the greater lesson I learned from Mrs. Sawant in my life.
That's really nice, sir. That's really very nice. Thank you for sharing. That's wonderful. Now, sir, is there anything, or I could put it from, let's go like this. The happiest moment in your life till date. Yet many more are to come, but till date, which was that happiest moment or that fulfilling moment in your life?
Well, you really want me to share it, and I'm going to get a beating from my son because the happiest moment was when I became the father of my daughter. I always wanted daughter as a first child, and uh, my daughter is the firstborn in the family. So that was my happiest day in life, if I have to say it. Really, I mean, my wife is going to not like this. My son is not going to like this. But if I have to put it as number one, it is that 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 feeling of holding my daughter in my hand. Uh, of course, when the son was born, that was a different pleasure. It completed the family and all that. Uh, the joy was high. But if I have to rank, forced ranking, daughters won.
Yes, sir. I get that. I get that. Like if you could take me in the picture, like if you would ask me, I would say holding my son. It's just vice versa. Holding my son in my hand, that was the day he was born. That was the most beautiful day in my life. So I could understand and relate to that. Yes, sir. So now I'd like to go ahead and ask you if you could share your thoughts and views with regard to mental health. Now, there are several people out there who just brush off mental health. They don't give it importance. There is no such thing as depression. There is no such thing as you're not okay over here. It's just that you are lazy. It's just that you're overthinking. What are your thoughts on this with regard to mental health?
So we learn from life, like I said. And again, I'll be very honest. I used to perceive mental health as a person's inability to accept and fight the situation. But over a period of time, having interacted with many, many more people, uh, today I've come to understand in the last couple of years, I mean, more than a decade now, of course, that it's a serious health issue. It is a health issue. Let's accept it. Not everybody has the same mental framework. Not everybody is made of steel. Everybody's sensitivities are different. So there are people who are a little more sensitive. There are people who are a little less sensitive, uh, or more resilient and less resilient. We have to accept that. And if the minute we accept it as a parent, as a colleague, as a sibling, I think we have done a great deal of justice to the other person who is actually going through certain life issues. Now, it's very easy these days. People just say that, oh, I'm stressed. Well, stress has always been there in life. Whether we talk of a farmer who faces that stress of the uncertainty of rain, or we face it could be a small stress like waiting for a bus. You don't know when your bus is going to come, and especially when you're getting late. It's all about classifying that, okay, this is a stress which I can handle. This is a stress which I need to learn to manage. I think people should have that approach, positive approach that how do I manage my stress? Just giving up in front of stress is something that is not done. I mean, that's one of the good things that one learns from sales profession is that you learn to handle the uncertainties well. So one has to be mentally strong. One has to be determined to be mentally strong. Let me put it that way. Uh, that, okay, I can face it to the best of extent of the ability I have. Second thing, it's important that one has to be seeking out help. It's not just about having a problem, but seek out help. Accept it yourself first. Seek out help. There are people out there in the world. There are very many good people out there in the world willing to help. So one should seek out help. So it's a serious issue, but living with it is just accepting it is not a solution. Seeking out help and doing something about it is what I believe one should look at mental health issues.
Thank you, sir. I like the last two sentences. Seek help. Do not delay help. Like many of them don't come forward to seek help. And they say, oh, nothing is wrong, I'll manage it. But yes, if you really need help, there are several people out there to help you. Either it could be a professional, a family friend, or a family member as well. That's really nice, sir. Thank you for sharing the way you put all of that very clearly. Like some people are very sensitive, some are okay, some are resilient, some are non-resilient. All of that, you put that very well. And as you said, sales and marketing helps you to, become very strong because you have many rejections on your face there.
Every day.
They cut you off. They're very harsh and blunt. So that makes you more stronger.
Yes, it helps you become more resilient and face failures in the face of it and still keep smiling.
Yes, that's wonderful. Now, sir, I have a little quiz session for you. Would you take part in the small quiz session? There are 5 questions which I would like to go ahead, and this is for the first time I'm having it on the International Fabtalks. I'd just like to have this to add a little more extra punch to this session and to this platform. Over to you,
Sure,
sir.
go ahead.
Yes. Have you heard of the word kleptomania? And if it is yes,
Long back.
if it is yes,
Celebrities have kleptomania.
what is it all about?
So it's kleptomania is all about the desire to get freebies. It's not about affordability. So like I said, celebrities are kleptomaniacs too, that they just want things for free and they pick it up. So let me put it in a lighter way. Shoplifters, celebrity shoplifters.
Yes, that's really nice. So now that monument, which is a symbol of love in India,
The Taj Mahal,
that was quite easy, right?
very easy, very easy. And it's a phenomenal monument. Been there once, such beautiful marble. I mean, despite the environmental damage, it still is shining so bright. So that's come what may, you have to keep shining bright. I think that's a lesson that Taj teaches us.
Have you visited Agra?
Yes, yes. Over a decade back.
Yes. The next question coming up is about the smallest country in the world.
It's a little difficult. Heard about one oil rig which has been converted, oil rig or something that is converted into a kind of a self-declared country on the shores outside of Britain or somewhere, England. I don't know. I think is that the one you're referring to?
I'm afraid, sir, that's not the right one. And we leave the answer to the audience. You could guess the answer later on, friends, when you view this video. So then we go on to the third question. So you've scored 2 out of 3. And the next question is, who is the author of Pride and Prejudice?
Jane Austen.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Well done. That's really nice. That's wonderful. And then one last question, sir, which I'd like to put up is the largest planet.
Pluto. Or I think I'm way off the mark.
I give you another chance. You could just, the largest planet.
Yeah, but there's a debate whether it's a planet or whether it's what. Wait a minute. What Pluto, what Saturn. Oops. It's something like that's it's there on the tip of your tongue, but
No, but
it's
it's
you're
not
not
coming
getting
up.
it. I
Yeah, I
give
get
up.
that. Yes, sir. So you score 3 out of
5.
5. Yes, 3 on 5. But well done, nevertheless. I'm very happy that you answered Pride and Prejudice because you're a person connected with books. So
Yes.
if you wouldn't have answered that right, so then I would like, oh my God, sir is connected with books and didn't get that
That
right.
was an
I,
acid test.
yeah, so yes. So you answered that very well. So it's 3 on 5. Well done, sir. Thank you for participating. It was a sudden one which I shared with you. And
It was lovely.
you joined that in that beautiful session as well. That's wonderful. That shows your sportive spirit. And this is how people should be able to take risks at the right time. Don't this is for the youth, which I would always want to concentrate on the youth because they're losing it out, and many of them are going into alcohol, drugs, or they are having serious mental health issues. So in order to face challenges, you have to really take the bull by its horns. You confront everything that comes and say it's not like why me, it's like try me. Yes. No,
Absolutely.
yes, sir.
If
Please
you
go
permit me, there is one
ahead.
incident I would like to narrate from my life. Uh, like I mentioned, I started my life as a medical representative, professional life as a medical representative. And I was maybe about 2 months or 3 months into the profession. And obviously, when those days, when you go from a company like Hearst, you were somebody who went with his collar up, like I'm from Hearst kind of thing. And one doctor probably was having a bad day, and he kind of thrashed me out. And I felt absolutely miserable that day that I couldn't meet any other doctor that evening. We were supposed to meet 10 doctors in a day, and this doctor was maybe the fifth or the sixth doctor of the day that I was meeting. And I felt so miserable, I just returned home. I said, no, I can't. I actually had tears in my eyes when I walked out of that doctor's office. And the next day morning, I called up my boss. Uh, he's one Mr. Sirish Gupte. Uh, Still in touch with him. So called him up. I said, I can't do this. He said, why? What's the problem? And I bawled out the whole story to him. He said, okay, let's do one thing. You meet me at this station. So in Bombay, you meet your boss at a particular station at a particular time that way. So he changed his plan for the day, came over, took me to a tea shop. No fancy thing, just kept on talking to me naturally, this, that, for at least half an hour. Like, I am waiting for him to ask me what happened and dying to again narrate to him and that, look, this is not my cup of tea. And he made me drink tea, kind of thing. And then after half an hour, I lost my patience. I said, boss, I called you for a specific purpose. So what happened? The doctor must be maybe a patient of his died and he took out that frustration on you. He just put it across so casually to me that that's okay. What happened? Somebody just threw out his frustration at you. Why do you want to take it personal? So this is how you build mental resilience. So that was a lesson which Mr. Gupte gave me back in '93, but I still value it. So this is for all the young folks there that, look at it in whole. When I said a little while back that look at a thing in whole and not just in part. So not just focusing on that doctor's behavior at that one particular moment. Maybe something bad, there was a backstory to it, which came out to me in frustration. That's okay. It was not directed at me, probably. That's how you look at it in life.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for sharing it. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is for all of us. When we face those difficult moments, we have to rise back. We should be like the phoenix, rise back from the ashes and not feel dejected. Now, sir, we'll shift our focus on something nice. What about movies? Which is your favorite one? Do you love movies?
Yeah, I do watch movies, not as frequently as I would like to now, but and I like watching them in the theaters more than on the big screen at home. Uh, while the big screen does offer you a lot of convenience, but somehow I feel that the immersive experience that you get in a theater, where you're in a different world by itself, is missing at home. I have loved to watch a lot of English movies in my young days, thanks to having grown up in Bombay, where you had opportunity to watch them. Uh, Star Wars. That's one series that I'm a big fan of. I think I've watched almost all of them, barring a couple of uh, ones which I probably missed them, but I don't want to watch them over the flat screen at home, but would love to watch them in the theaters. That's always again that movie is again all about fight of good against bad, the persistence of hope winning over evil, all of that. Those messages that are there are so beautifully interwoven in a very, very imaginative way. So, love Star Wars as a series, all the movies.
Yes, that's really nice. Thank you for sharing. Now, sir, what is the one thing that you love about Bhavesh?
I love about Bhavesh, my goodness, the positive and optimistic approach. In whatever situation I am in, I like to look at it, things in an optimistic way. That this is not how it's always going to be, whether it's good or the bad days, right? And especially when you're going through bad times, keep looking up optimistically. Try to find positive things in every little small situation. It could be a very small thing like you giving up a seat to a pregnant woman. You know, it's about that there were just these limited seats, but I had a seat, but why should I give it up? But the optimist in me says that, look, I need to do it for this lady. At the same time, I am setting an example for 20 others who did not get up. It should be always like that. One has to always create an optimistic viewpoint from every little thing that you do in life or go through in life. So that's what, if I have to love about Bhavesh, is the optimism.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing. Now, sir, this is a very sensitive question that I'm going to ask you. There are several youngsters complaining about their parents. I've had several clients of especially the youth. As I'm a counseling psychologist, they connect with me and they share this that they are unable to overcome childhood trauma. Their parents haven't been treating them in the right way, constantly fighting in front of them. Either the father is an alcoholic or the mother is an alcoholic. There's something up and down that they haven't been having a good childhood. And those demons have come out now in their adult life. And when you question them or ask them, or when they share things on their own, this is what they say: I didn't have a happy childhood, and I am having these flashbacks of all of these. So I want you to give them a strong message on to forgive their parents and move on. If they hold on to that, they will never rise up in life.
So I'll go back to my self optimism, right? I don't need to be the same person as I have been exposed to, kind of tried to be shaped up if it's not something that I don't like. Uh, like again said, I come from a not a very well-to-do family, but the optimist in me kept clawing at opportunity, every little small opportunity to move ahead. Emotional trauma is, of course, a very different thing from a financial trauma. But if these youngsters, they look at, there are bright spots happening in their life every day. While they are definitely carrying a baggage of the past, revisiting that baggage is just not going to help them move ahead in life. It's only going to make their journey ahead, the climb up, more difficult. I think a beautiful simile in that is that when you go on a trek, you don't carry too many things. You just carry the basic essentials. As against a vacation that you're going on, where on a holiday, you are allowed to carry a lot of baggage. The same thing, if you have a baggage which is preventing you from moving ahead, park it. Park it somewhere. Yes, it's not going to go out, but leave it. Learn to leave it Give more space to the brighter things that are happening on a daily basis. Don't even look at a 3 month period, 3 week period, 3 day period. Look at a day at a time. What good happened today? And I think another thing that I believe that helps, would probably help these kind of people is writing what good happened to me today. And then when they will revisit that journal, maybe after 25 days, 30 days, I'm not even talking about 3 month time, such a long time. They'll feel that so many good things happened to them. And that's how you kind of edge out the bad memories and fill up your mind with good memories. Take an optimistic approach and keep fighting. Give more space to the optimist and the negativity in your life.
Beautiful, sir. Thank you. You've done justice to that question. You answered it so well. You've given a beautiful example as well with regard to trekking, about the backpack or the bag that you carry. You said, park it somewhere, leave it somewhere, and just go ahead, take it one day one day at a time. That's really nice. Now, sir, if you were given a chance to relive somebody's life, whose life you'd love to relive?
That's really difficult. I mean, I don't know. There are sometimes I feel that if I were to go back in time and take certain different decisions, my life itself would be relived in a very different way. Because there have been decisions, there have been behaviors which I regret in my life. So if I wish I could have acted in a different way with a certain person in a certain situation. So more than living a fantasy life, I actually was given a chance to correct my mistakes in my life. I feel I would have had left a much better relationship or an impact in more number of people's lives. So I would like to do it that way instead of living someone else's fantasy life.
Yes. Well answered, sir. What about sports and games, outdoor games or indoor games?
More of an outdoor person. Not that I get a chance to play that much. Played quite a bit in my younger days, but then the professional demands took away all of that. So, but I used to play. I mean, again, like I said, thanks to no digital devices, I used to be playing till I was 20, 21. I mean, even during my MSc days, I used to be playing and played a variety of games, whether it was street cricket, volleyball, badminton. Not a champion at any of those, but you just used to love the feeling of going out and playing and, burning away your energy kind of thing. So still, I push my children for that. My son became a very good swimmer thanks to that. He is a cycling enthusiast. So I'm happy at that he picked up a little bit of it. But unfortunately, children these days don't, I feel they don't get as much outdoor time as we were lucky to get.
Yes. That's really nice. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. And congratulations to your son. He's a wonderful swimmer and a cyclist as well. Yes. As you mentioned also that being a professional, you had to miss out on a lot of sports and games which you were interested in. Yes. The professional pressure will definitely, make us sideline our priorities of being.
Priorities.
Yes.
Exactly.
Or you could say your passion for sports, games, etc. Now, sir, is there something that scares you? किसी चीज का डर लगता है आपको?
Not really. Not really. Again, like I said, sales, prepares you to face any situation. So, been through some of the worst nightmares, faced them, came out through them, right? Whether it was a job loss or the death of a parent. So, and I think I navigated them quite balancedly, let me put it that way, thanks to some very valuable support from my family, couple of my very valuable friends and gurus in life that they helped me navigate those tough times. Today it looks very smoothly, but then of course when I was going through it, they were full of jarrings. But yeah, I never lost my mental balance thanks to the family support and the support of friends and gurus. Let me put it. And that's where it's important to have a circle of support around you. Uh, the youngsters these days, they prefer to keep aloof. But my message to them again would be that you need to have that support system. See, the Indian family system was in a way a support system. Today, we all of us live in a cluster families and all that. Our support systems are vain, and probably those are the some of the underlying reasons that we face more increased mental health issues and all that. So it's important to have a circle of good friends, advisors, gurus, as we may say it, those who are elderly to us. They may not be related to us, but they are our well-wishers, right? And of course, the close-knit family.
Yes. So is there anything that makes you angry? Have you found yourself getting angry with regard to any situation or
I am a short-fused person, so to say it. Managed to learn to control it over a period of time as I've grayed, lost my hair, so over a period of time. But then, yes, what angers me the most these days is the lack of civic sense in the community. People spit anywhere, cut across driving, they cut across, they don't follow the rules. Uh, Somewhere I feel that as a society, our civic sense is very poor. I'll be happy to sweep my house and keep it clean and immediately pick up the dustpan and throw it outside my gate. Such is the poor civic sense that prevails in our society, and that is what angers me the most at this point of time in life.
yes, I get that. I get that. So your proudest moment till date?
Well, uh, there have been some very good moments of success when it comes to. So, fortunately, unfortunately, we always tend to associate our proudest moments or the most successful moments with our profession, right? But I would personally, if I have to rate it, it was a family moment when all of us collectively decided that I would step away from a professional role because of the situation that we were going through, and the family was willing to support me. They said that, okay, you're going to give up your good paying job. It's a risk, but let's take it. We would like to have you rather than, your paycheck. So
It's
that
so
is
nice.
one of the proudest moments. Let me put it that way.
That's so nice. That's really very nice. I'm really happy. And see, it's like love conquers everything. It's not the love
Absolutely.
for money, it's the love for the person. It's the respect and dignity that we give to the person who's with us. That's really nice.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So you consider that to be the proudest moment. That's really nice. Excellent.
Very, very.
Wonderful. And I'm sure all of you, my dear friends, should prioritize your family members over other things. So we've seen several people being greedy over property, and especially the siblings, taking over the entire property for themselves, not sharing the property equally amongst the other siblings. This has happened. And, prioritizing their own selves, then sharing it equally. So that has also happened. So when you share this, my family members were there with me at this time. It really makes us feel good that yes, family system still is in place in India and across the world. So prioritize family and love your siblings all at home. Now, sir, what about pets? Do you love pets too?
Yes. So we did have a pet. We did have a pet, and she gave us some really beautiful moments of our life. We had her for a good period of about 3.5 years. Uh, it was a Labrador, uh, right? And by choice, I wanted a girl. I did not want a boy pet again. So that's my bias towards having daughters. And my thought at that point of time was that my daughter here is going to grow up with me, and she's going to leave me, but I'll have this another daughter with me who'll spend a good part of her life with me, and I'll still have a daughter. So it was with that hope. Uh, Unfortunately, she didn't survive beyond 3.5 years, but she did give us some wonderful memories. While I really relish that period, at the same time, it's such a responsibility. It's like having a child all the time. So the fear of not being able to handle all those responsibilities due to our life situations is what is kind of preventing me from getting another one at home. And this would again be my appeal to all those people who look at those wonderful reels of the pet dogs and the cats and whatnot, that it's very nice when you see those, gives you a very warm feeling. And when actually the pet is with you, it's a very warm feeling. But if you're not going to be able to take care of them for the next, because on an average, a dog lives nothing less than 8 to 15 years. You don't know what situations you're going to come across in life and whether you'll be able to take care of that pet. If you're very sure that you have a good support system, then get a pet home. But don't expect the pet caretakers to take care of your pet. And it's an emotional trauma for them when they get separated from. So go for pets. If you like them, go for it. It's one of the best, beautiful feelings you will enjoy in your life. But it comes with a responsibility. Be prepared to take that.
I mean, you are so connected with the world, you're connected with life. It could be human beings, it could be animals. You're really very empathetic and compassionate. That's really nice. I get to see that picture in you, that type of a personality trait in you, where you understand the pain even of an animal. As you mentioned, the separation would cause some emotional trauma to even that little animal or that little pet. Pets become family members then finally, right? So
Absolutely. They are your family.
yes. And the moment we are sad, the moment there's something not okay with us, they also go down. Their emotions also, the way they express themselves, it's in tune with the way
Absolutely.
we are.
Absolutely. I mean, I still remember uh, I was locked up in Bombay for a good period of 45 days during the first wave of COVID. And when I came back home, the way my daughter jumped on me, my pet daughter jumped on me. I mean, that showering of love, I could see that feeling of relief in her because when I used to be on a video call, she used to listen to my voice when I used to be on a video call with the family, and but she would not come onto the video. We tried so many times, but she would just run away. She wouldn't want to see me. But then when she finally saw me in person, I mean, that's one of the most beautiful memories of my life I have.
That's nice, sir. That's wonderful. What about your interest in traveling? You've already traveled across many cities in India, different states. Like, have you been crossing Indian borders, going to different foreign countries?
Yes, thanks to my profession mainly, that I got to travel to multiple continents, the European continent multiple times, the US multiple times, and even to the Southeast Asian part of the world. Uh, and it's been such a revealing exposure that when you go to different countries, the kind of culture that they have, uh, their their attitude towards strangers, attitude towards different skin tone. It's actually a learning. I mean, there were not all of those experiences were pleasant, a few unpleasant ones too, but then they were learnings, and how the world can be. I mean, the most impressed, if I have to say, I have been with a place is Dubai. For one simple reason that what a man's imagination can create is in Dubai. It's nothing but sand out there. And you look at the world that has been created in Dubai. That really speaks about the power of imagination and determination of humans. That when we are determined, we really can create something great out of nothing.
That's really nice. So I should make a visit to Dubai because you've said that whatever human mind could imagine, it's all there in Dubai. That's really nice. You've really spoken so well about this country. So hopefully all of you just make a trip over there and get to know all the beautiful things that the human mind has created. Yes. So that's really nice. So now we have a small segment called as the rapid fire round, which will take another 5 to 10 minutes.
Sure.
Yes.
Let's go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you for being very patient and answering all the questions that I put forward. Thank you. Friends, it's now time for the rapid fire round to get to know the likes and dislikes of our celebrity and guest. Is Mr. Bhavesh. He's here with us, a person learned and experienced with lots of wisdom. The way sir has shared everything speaks volumes of his experience and the knowledge that he has gained through all these years of, his journey on this planet Earth. So your favorite breakfast?
Favorite breakfast is upma.
Can you prepare it as well?
Yes. I learned it during COVID.
Oh, great. Wonderful. That's really nice. So, your favorite month?
My favorite month, I mean, all months, they're good, but I enjoy the Navratri and the Diwali period. So, whenever it falls, but I enjoy celebrating those festivals. So, I am the happiest during those points of the year. Let me put it that way.
Yes. So, your favorite color?
Blue. Yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah, just that, I always felt that blue gives that warmth as well as confidence, exudes that. So, been liking blue since, I don't know, time immemorial.
Yes. If you were to meet the Almighty, or if you believe in the universal energy, and if they were to give you a superpower, what kind of a superpower would you select? What would be your choice?
That's a little tough one. There are so many things to be corrected in the world, and one person can't do it. But if I were to be able to correct something, uh, basic civic sense is something I would really love to have that corrected, that people treat each other with equal humility and humbleness.
Yes. You believe in comfort or in style?
Comfort.
Favorite kind of music?
I listen to various kinds of music, whether it is Hindi film music or even a little bit of rock. But ghazals is something that kind of gives me a lot of soothing, and Gujarati folk music. These are two of my favorites.
So, do you believe in the concept of a second choice? Or not second choice, I'm sorry, second chance?
Yes, I do feel people should be given a second chance. People make mistakes. People make judgmental errors. People make spot decisions which are wrong based on certain viewpoints. So give someone a second chance, fair second chance. Uh, but certain crimes are unpardonable. So obviously those don't deserve a second chance. Say like uh, a rape or something that doesn't deserve a second chance.
So, you're very logical and I like the way you answer. I like the way you put it. You're very positive and saying, yes, people deserve a second chance, but there are certain crimes that don't deserve a second chance at all. That's, I mean, to be forgiven. I get that point very clearly when you put that. That also makes me emotional at times. We forgive people, and there are certain people that we can't forgive in our lives. You could also take the Nirbhaya case where, so I could just relate to that when you shared that. Yes. Thank you very much. So now it's like the technological era, the digital space, and all of it is dominating the entire world. We all have our mobiles in our hands. You prioritize texting or calling.
I prefer to speak to people. I prefer, but yeah, the digital discipline demands that you take an appointment 90% of the time. Uh, unless you're very sure that that person won't mind it, or you're calling at a time. But I still prefer that most of even my friends, I just send in a message that, okay, are you going to be okay talking around this time? You know. But yes, I prefer speaking over a call or even a video call as against just chatting over text. That's kind of doesn't drive the emotions. The text doesn't drive the emotions. The emojis can't replace your voice modulation.
Yes. Your favorite snack?
My favorite snack, banana. Banana, I say. I can eat a banana in the morning. I can eat one in the evening also. So besides that, I love to munch on uh, what do you call this? The rice flakes, the murmura that we are calling. I don't know what is honestly called in English. Uh, the puffed rice, right? Yeah, that's sorted in a little bit of oil and with some masala and peanuts and all that. My wife and my mother used to make very nice ones. My wife also makes. But that's my favorite tea time snack in the evening.
That's nice. That's really nice. So the next question coming up is, did you ever regret spending money on any item? Like you might have bought something, but then you say, oh my God, why did I buy it? Kyun kharid liya maine?
No, I'm a very considerate buyer. So I'm like I don't buy things on a whim or a fancy. So whether it's buying a handkerchief or a mobile phone, I'm very sure that okay, I need to replace my mobile phone, and that's when I kind of buy it. So yeah, sometimes my family calls me miser too, but then yeah, I've never regretted buying anything in life.
You're very lucky. Most of us, we are on the opposite side. Kharid lete hain and then we buy it and then we regret, oh my God, why did we buy it? Like the women fancy, you looked at it once and then yeah, it appealed to you at that moment, but then it was of no use when you brought it home. Yes, sir. So, is it tea or coffee?
I'm a tea drinker. So I prefer the masala tea variant with lots of ginger in it. So and my wife makes although she's a coffee drinker, she makes better tea than me to my taste.
That's so nice. So, have you ever encountered a wild animal or a reptile?
No, not really. I mean, not come face to face kind of thing. So never had that kind of the wildest animal that I mean, what scared me was a running cow when I was driving a two-wheeler. Let me put it that way.
Sometimes they are unpredictable. You see, on when we find them on the road, like just left out, and they become
Yes,
unpredictable at certain more times. I have so that
absolutely, absolutely. So that was one of the scariest, scary moments that I've had when I was driving a two-wheeler and a cow came charging. So it's right in the heart of the city, not anywhere in the jungle. But then yes, it could have been fatal. It is fatal at times to many people, unfortunately.
yes, yes, we've seen of late that there are many posts with regard to how a bull or a cow or maybe a buffalo might have attacked an innocent person who's been walking that side or driving a vehicle. We've seen that happening.
So,
So the insect that you don't like,
sorry,
the insect that you don't like.
cockroach.
But the cockroach doesn't do anything, right? Many of them, like maximum number of people who share the space on this platform, they have always accused the cockroach. But I have a question. The cockroach hasn't bitten anybody till date. It could be the mosquito, it could be an ant, it could be like something else.
Yeah,
So
so
why the
there are
cockroach?
these three insects that I dislike is the mosquito, the fly, and the cockroach.
Oh,
Somehow, I mean, the cockroach gives you that ugly feeling because of where it lives, kind of thing.
got it.
So cockroach is something that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Yes, so thank you for explaining it, like from where does it come? So that makes that us feel quite nasty when we look at it. Yes.
True.
Oh, yes. So how people call you, like what's the nickname or the pet name that they've given you? They call you Bhavesh, or is there any other special name?
Except a small group of my childhood friends who have a nickname for me. I have never encouraged anyone to call me by nickname or any other name other than Bhavesh. And I request everyone, whether it's somebody elder to me or even junior to me, I tell them that please call me by Bhavesh. Please don't put a prefix or a suffix to it. Right? So Bhavesh is my nickname. The other one, I wouldn't be wanting to share it here because it's amongst a very, very small set of childhood friends.
That's really nice. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Now, sir, till date, last two questions, and then we end the session. Thank you for being very patient. There are last two questions. One is a question and one is a request. The best gift that you've received till date, the most precious gift.
There have been so many in life. I mean, the most precious, again, I would not like to associate it with the materialistic value, but I still will again repeat that the best gift that I got was from my wife, and that was my daughter. Right? And then my son. So these are the two very beautiful gifts that I have in life. Uh, Thanks to her for mothering them. And they've turned out to be very beautiful human beings, thanks again to her efforts. So that's the best gift I have received so far.
That's really so nice. Thank you for sharing, sir. Now, one last request. We'd like you to give us three gifts in return. Already you've given us lots of gifts, lots of takeaways with all the wisdom that you shared. We'd like you to share, sum up the session with three magical words where we could focus our energies and build a beautiful life. Apart from please, sorry, and thank you, you could share any
Yes.
words.
Be optimistic always, whatever situation you are in. Uh, Look at the whole story and not just a situation. And the third one would be accept before getting accepted. So these are three learnings that I have in life which have helped me. I wish they help others also.
They're very deep. Yes. I really like the way you put all those three gifts for us, my dear sir. Thank you very much for being here today with us, taking out the time and spending, it's called as quality time, friends. This is how we share things on the International Fab Talks. You should do us a favor, share this video with the right kind of people. Sir, I really appreciate the way you've shared everything with regard to your profession, with regard to your, thoughts and views on various things that I've asked you, and as well as your flair for your profession and your love for your family. That's really nice. Lots of love to you and your family as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I mean, I really thank you for this opportunity because you actually made me dig deep within myself and rediscover uh, myself. Uh, so thank you for that. I really am indebted to you. And the best thing about it, the discussion was that you made it made me so comfortable and made it so easy for me. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir, for being very humble. Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you so much. Looking forward to many more interactions with you in the near future as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. My dear friends, with this, we come to an end to the International Fab Talks for today, dear friends. Do share this video with the right kind of people. You never know who will be inspired. Even if one person is inspired by this video, we feel that we have done a good job. And the wisdom that was shared here is worth a million books, I guess, because experience speaks a lot. And what was shared here is really great. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment if you like what we are doing on the International Fab Talks. Have a wonderful time and happy Ugadi once again to each one of you in India and across the world. Thank you, sir.